Right, hello, good morning, and welcome to the show. This is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. It's a Tuesday, the 12th day of March 2024. By His grace, we're live and we're here. We're yet another edition of the show. Our gratitude to go to Most High God for the very privilege of being alive and, of course, the opportunity of having another conversation around the top stories making the rounds here in our dear Republic. I'll let you into our panel for the morning's conversation shortly. But let's take a look at the front pages of our newspapers. Daily Graphic. Ofanko and Soham Road Project. 100 lawsuits impede works. Chief Engineer. Attorney General advocates renewable energy use in schools. Implementation of planting for food and jobs too. Farmers registration begins today. Daily Guide. My husband died of terminal disease, John Kume's wife. 200 stalls raised down in fire. Old in court, Nana sparks outrage in Parliament. Agric Ministry opens PFJ 2.0 application. Election 2024. Baumia leads Mahama in swing constituencies. The New Crusading Guide. CDD Lords IGP over prudent management of by-elections. Court orders A+ to pay Hassan Zain 100,000 cedis over defamation remarks. EcoBank celebrates success of Africa Cup of Nations. Ken Mswati hosts Ghana's foreign minister. Hey. Okay. Include TCIM therapy in NPP manifesto. Dr. Shirmatin Aegis Baumia. Mahama Ayariga petitions OSP again over new Bank of Ghana complex. The Insight. Corruption. Former Auditor General wants fight against canker decentralized and commercialized. 24-hour economy. Professor Nano Pukwajiman says women to benefit immensely from policy. Bishop Adontin Boatin honored by Asantini for outstanding humanitarian efforts. U.S. President Joe Biden delivers State of the Union speech while under fire for supporting Israel's genocide in Gaza. The Daily Statesman. Transformation of Agric on course. Planting for food and jobs too to accelerate process. Baumia to launch Ghana card number at birth on Thursday. GGSA. More surveys underway to spur growth. Ghana needs moral transformation, GNAP president. Ghana ranked 10th with most affordable fuel prices in Africa. Daily Post. Conflicting accounts of cause of John Kume's death emerges. His wife says he died from terminal cancer. Eyewitness. Ohineba swears he was poisoned to death. Raz Mataz won't win as 2024 elections. Vigilance will, Mahama tells NDC members. Central Region, Hutu Breku Electoral Commissioner, Coordinating Director, Presiding Member, hot over mafia in quote DCE confirmation as 12 Assembly members go wild. Unilever Ghana has relocated its tea production to Nigeria due to current mess at Tufosin. Economy Times, job scarcity on the rise. Cocoa prices forecast to range between $4,882 and $4,922 per ton, Bank of Ghana. Banking sector records a big leap in profit. And that's about it for the front pages. We're back shortly. Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. With me on the show this morning, I have the Honorable Hussein Issa, who's the former Member of Parliament for the Okankwe. Is it Central now? No. North constituency. Okay. Central is Patrick. Okay.
Fadama.
Good morning.
Good morning, Randy.
Right. Also
good morning to your viewers.
Also with me on the show this morning is a man who I believe has been celebrated more than any of his peers on a birthday.
It's okay.
You know.
It's okay. I'm sure today, this morning, Ferguson has not given you any word.
He's the Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC and is also the Executive Director of FT Affairs in the Republic of
Propaganda.
FT Affairs. Yes, FT Affairs.
Propaganda.
Yes. He's the Executive Director, FT Affairs. Here in the Republic of Ghana. Yes. Ghana, yes.
He's gotten Ferguson
Godwin Eduji Tamaklo.
He's gotten Ferguson to pollute him. You guess when Randy paused with Kenny Swati? Ferguson has a special invite from Kenny Swati, so he should be in the Swaziland soon.
that publication about invitation to Saudi African men.
I saw him sharing it all over the place.
To come for free citizenship if they are able to marry 5 women.
But I think it's real.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I mean, he promotes polygamy, but the citizenship one, I don't believe it. And
oh my goodness.
In any case, even if it were true, people in this country don't qualify. We are not a Southern African country.
Exactly.
So even if it were true, I mean, if it were open to Africa, I'm sure that the executive director,
I'm not sure.
FT affairs will have a desk.
AU privileges extend into SADC.
Anyway, so LG has the FT kingdom.
Because of propaganda, you have decided to ask this vast question.
How's the FT,
No, today
FT kingdom?
we are looking at Ghana's economy. We'll come to that point later.
Is that not a direct correlation between the performance of the economy and the welfare of FTs?
On such matters,
I just think that it will be fair for me to be brought up to speed.
So you're a finance person. Eduji says FT is Franklin Templeton.
You are done.
Right, okay. Now we can move on.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, all right, okay, so imagine getting rewarded for doing something you already do every single day. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, that's exactly what Momo Season is all about. There's something for everyone. Download the Momo app on Play Store or App Store and use Momo Pay for your day-to-day transaction to a merchant, either through the QR code or merchant ID, and stand a chance of winning 1,000 CDs weekly and other amazing prizes. Our merchants are also not left out of the reward. Receive payments and win. Keep using your Momo Pay on the Momo app and get rewarded. There are lots and lots of exciting prizes for everyone. So what are we doing today? Transact more with Momo Pay, earn more points, and win big this Momo season. Visit Momo Merchant application.mtn.com.gh for your Momo for Business account today. It's Momo season, so just Momo it with Momo Pay. Terms and conditions apply. And are you desperate of getting a toothpaste that will take care of all the family and save money? The recommended family toothpaste is Kel 360 toothpaste. It's approved by the Food and Drugs Authority. Kel 360 toothpaste provides you and your family with all-round dental protection throughout the day with freshness. Kel 360 toothpaste is good for kids, children, and adults. Let your family be a proud family when they step out by constantly using Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste brightens your teeth, prevents cavity, and with its cool mint, gives you a fresh breath throughout the day and protects the gum from decaying. For consistency and quality, use Kel 360 toothpaste. Kel 360 toothpaste is another quality product from Samara Company Limited, producers of Sasso, and is available in all supermarkets, malls, and provision shops. You can call Samara Company Limited on 0246 864 798. Kel 360 toothpaste, happy smile. And the pains of climbing the stairs or not exercising could be challenging irrespective of your age. But you need not worry. Lifts and elevators have got you covered with the best portable American pneumatic vacuum elevators on the market today. It's a simple self-supported elevator for both homes and offices, and guess what? It can lift your goods too. Wheelchairs can fit in, and they come in 3 custom-made models. It is affordable and can be installed within 3 days. Visit Lift and Elevators at Sakumono, or just call them on 0200-535-515, or send a mail to elevators@gmail.com for consultations and the best solutions in easy vertical movement. An Amen Scientific and Herbal and Alternative Medical Hospital is organizing a free health screening, and it's open to the general public. This is a way of saying thank you to Ghanaians. What's more rewarding than this? The free screening includes fertility test, prostate, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, fibroid, ulcers, hepatitis B, and many more. Note that the medical screening is free, but patients with disease conditions will pay a token or their medications. Visit Amen Scientific at Domi, near Snake Flats Down or Clagon, near the Ashaman Under Bridge, and all the other branches across the country. You can call Amen Scientific on 020-722-9505 or 0244-227192 to book your appointments. Amen Scientific and Alternative Medical Hospital. Allahu Shafi, God is the healer. All right. Okay, so let's start off with the issue of jobs. The Economy Times reports on the front page that job scarcity on the rise. And Elom Deseu reports that job availability in the country has continued to decline. According to the Bank of Ghana, the number of jobs advertised in selected media, which partially gauges labor demand in the economy, decreased in December 2023 relative to jobs recorded a year ago. In total, 2,925 job adverts were recorded as compared to 3,277 for the same period in 2022, indicating a decline of 10.7% on year. On a month-on-month basis, the number of job vacancies in December 2023 improved by 11.9% from 2,615 jobs advertised in November 2023. Cumulatively for 2023, the total number of advertised jobs went up marginally by 3.2 to 33,629 from 32,651 recorded in 2022. Total number of private sector SNAID contributors, which partially gauges employment conditions, improved by 3.7 to 954,458 in November 2022. Now, I picked this story because we're also aware of the data presented by the Statistical Service, which also tells us that unemployment is on the rise. We are above 14% as far as unemployment is concerned. And conspicuously missing from the President's State of the Nation address was the issue of job creation or employment or unemployment, whichever way you want to look at it. There's a growing population, growing youth population. Jobs should be created, more jobs should be created, employment opportunities should be created, but the data shows that we are not doing as much as we should do. Hussein, let me hear you on this one.
Yeah, good morning, Randy. Good morning to Lawyer Tamaklo. And good morning to your viewers. I should say good morning to the Interior Minister, the former Greater Accra Regional Minister, who's celebrating his birthday today.
Oh,
Honorable Henry Cotton.
Today is Henry's birthday.
Yeah, it's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
happy birthday to you.
And
Honorable.
I also want to wish all Muslims around the world a happy Ramadan.
It's
only
today,
the second day.
It's today day 2 in Ghana.
Day two for some of us. I'm sure some people are starting today. You know how these things are. But for most people in Ghana,
I read that New Zealand, yes, will start even on the 13th.
Because of the allocation and the sighting.
The sighting of
the directive is that you start fasting when
I have a question about the sighting of the moon.
The moon.
But maybe not for today. I've been thinking about it. It could be a very illiterate or uninformed view of mine. But I've been thinking about the issue of global warming and issue of the weather and all that, and whether there could be a link to the sighting of the moon and using that as a basis for, maybe...
You see, realistically, your geographical location affects how Ramadan happens.
That's always been the case.
Because I happen to have lived in a country where Ramadan happened within winter, and then we had very short days.
Yes.
I mean, it was dark way into the morning and very dark right after afternoon. So, and then in times when it falls in summer, then you happen to also fast very long hours. So it is just your location and all of that. So geography certainly has some input in how this thing is organized. But hey, that's it. We start fasting when the sun is rising, and when it sets, you break your fast. So That's how it is.
Okay.
Let me also say a good morning to the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia,
Right.
who is still on his campaign trail. He's telling the hospitality and tourism industry that when he becomes president, he is going to continue with the achievements that we have made, especially on the program of December in Ghana, which is continuation of the year of return, and then the year after the return. He's also going to pursue the e-visa system that will also make it very easy for arrivals within this country. He's also going to look at tax incentives and push it forward for the hospitality and tourism industry in Ghana, and also for our creative industry. He's also going to also have a second look at their taxation regime, build digital streaming platforms, and expand the existing ones so that they can also push their professions forward. So this are specific for the tourism industry.
Because you have spoken about tourism industry, and what do you say that the vice president says he will do for the industry?
Randy, before you go on,
yes.
I think maybe we are accepting unanimity. Maybe when we get there, so you
now
you have about 20 taxes now on the industry, and you are talking about
now the vice president.
Yes.
If he's talking about the hospitality industry, I will tell you the biggest killer when it comes to that industry. And the fact that he has been aware of this for the last 7 years. And his government still has some 8 months or so in office. And if he wants to do anything about it, he should be able to do these things now.
Randy, I think we have spoken and discussed this particular point so many times, not just me, but other reps on this show. And we have said that the vice president, what he's seeming to do is to share his priorities and his vision when he becomes president. And we have spoken at length and explained the fact that, yes, he is part of this government. He takes the credits and the shortcomings of this government. He is not shaking away from the achievements of this government. He recognizes that we have challenges at this time, that he would have preferred that those challenges were not there for us to have achieved much more than we have. Yet still, the record of this government he is proud of, given the challenges that the government has had to contend with.
Okay.
So he's sharing his priorities and vision. So when he becomes president,
you see,
there is no doubt. I know where this is going. We have spoken about this.
No, I'm just telling you.
We have spoken about this before.
If it is about the problem of the hospitality industry, and sometimes when I hear people say that hotel rooms in Ghana
are more expensive,
are too expensive, hospitality products are too expensive, and others. Let me just share something with you.
Right.
And I'm just going to take you through some of the taxes and levies as far as the industry is concerned. NHIL, VAT, Get Fund, COVID-19 levy, GTA levy, EPA levy, FDA levy, MMDA's levy, fire service levy, 1% tourism levy, data protection levy, BOP's levy, suitability report levy.
What? BOP?
Yes.
Business operation.
Yes.
Permit.
Yes. Suitability report levy, GAMRO levy. I have not gone to SNEED.
GAMRO. What is GAMRO? The copyright
Yes,
people.
yes. Now, these are just taxes and levies. on the hotel hospitality industry. And so when your room rate is mentioned to you, you ought to know that all this that I've mentioned, all this NHIL, VAT, Get Fund, COVID-19 levy, GTA levy, EPA levy, FDA levy, MMDS levy, Fire Service levy, 1% tourism levy, data protection levy, BOP's levy, I've not even mentioned property rates, suitability report levy, GAMRO levy, all of this before the establishment's other overheads will come in. So these are taxes and levies on that industry.
You see, then again, the challenge is we have found ways of raising money. Let's take the GAMRO one, for instance.
And this was ASAT, this particular one is ASAT 2021.
2021.
Yes, yeah. I am sure that there are a couple more that have been added. I need to update.
What the situation has been historically. When we're having copyright issues in Ghana, the artist thought that there has to be some levies or some revenue handles that will guarantee them flow. We all make use of their work. I play music in my private home.
I'm not sure anybody is complaining about GAMRO levy.
No, I'm just stating how come some of these handles come up. And so they think that, look, the established tourist.
No, we've been with GAMRO levy.
I mean,
we've been with GAMRO levy for so GAMRO levy is just not. It's typical. It's not one of the issues.
No. I'm just giving an antecedent how some of these things happened. BOP is normal. I mean, NHL. I mean, we really have to fund this national health insurance. And
the worst part is that we're paying 17.5
right
as VAT.
Right.
Then you decided that we should calculate it differently. When I say you, I mean the MPP government. Decided that we should calculate it differently. And the 17.5% is turned into some almost 22% of VAT. So that is how come it is no longer VAT 17.5, but you have NHIL separate, VAT separate, Get Fund separate. You've now added COVID-19 levy.
So going forward, what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is saying, when he becomes president, he is going to have a second look at this, and he's going to ensure that we have streamlined all the tax handles to ensure that we have the needed incentive to be able to push this sector forward as one of our growth goals. Tourism, as it is today, and as it is today, its contribution to the economy cannot be underrated, especially since we started the year of return and what we have been experiencing, especially in December. And his promise to the good people of Ghana is that when given the chance, he is going to have a second look at all of this. Randy, this morning, you want us to speak about unemployment. It's true. The government of the New Patriotic Party, led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, from 2017 to 2022, have been able to create 2.1 million jobs. And this is broken down in the public sector. I mean, in institutions like the fire service, the number of people employed is doubled. The number of people within the health sector, especially in 2020, who were employed, all those outstanding. Now, all those who had completed training and had not been employed at the time were all signed on to come and help. In the education sector, within our security forces, it's been very significant. The private sector, the role of government has been to create the enabling environment for the private sector to flourish. And when the private sector is flourishing and growing, then it tends to employ a lot of people. And that is where we have created the 950,000 jobs. And this you can verify from the records at Senate. That is how a nation grows. But a realistic fact is that no country is able to grow by expanding its public sector without encouraging the private sector to grow. And that is what this government seeks to. The reality and where we find ourselves today is that, and we keep reminding Ghanaians that from 2022 we've had to contend with some economic indices, which is not wholly as a result of this government, but these are externalities that will hit economies. And what economists do is to control growth at times when the economy is overgrowing or things are happening too speedily. You tend to put the brakes on, and when things are dull, you tend to put in measures that will actually promote growth. What we have been contending with, especially within the last 2 years or so, is to create that enabling environment that will enable the private sector to pick up again. And by that enabling environment, I mean getting all our macroeconomic indicators right. Businesses can only flourish in an environment where inflation is low or controlled, where the exchange rate is also relatively stable, where the economy itself is growing, and things like that. I mean, it creates and gives the private sector the incentive to invest and grow. We've had to contend with a period where we are still recovering from the effects of COVID-19 in a particular year, in 2020, where probably the economy was shut down. I mean, teachers did not go to work for close to a year. We are still catching up. The calendars are being put in there. We had to spend so much to ensure that we saved lives at the expense of the economy. And the president made that profound statement that, look, hey, we could always fix our economy, but we cannot bring people back to life if we lost them. And so we prioritize lives over the economy at the time. Now that we are out of the woods when it comes to COVID and its ravaging effects, we are fixing the economy by trying to create this macroeconomic stability for businesses to flourish and government itself to be able to grow the economy. When you tend to have that emphasis on growing the economy and getting your macroeconomic stability right, you cannot do same and also improve or encourage employment at the same time. Sometimes you have to take economic decisions that will ensure that, look, if you want to create the stability, then you probably have to do that at the expense of growth. I mean, look at our growth levels. We are still in the ranges of 3%, given where we are coming from. And this is the recovery mode in which we are. When you are in this mode, trying to create the stability that is needed for the economy to grow, certainly there are some indicators that will be challenged, and amongst them will be an employment situation. And this is not unique to Ghana. It is not unique to Ghana. Economies around the world are trying to recover since the pandemic. And in this mode, you cannot try to create the macroeconomic stability, making sure you have all your indicators right, and still be creating the much needed job. But I mean, historically, this government is not done badly when it comes to employment. Yes, the figures are there. It shows in 2019 we had a dip, a significant dip in the unemployment situation within this country. But unfortunately, this is where we find ourselves. We are not going to run from it. But the good thing is that at least we know what to do. We are getting the stability. Inflation is under control. We are experiencing relative stability with the currency. This yesterday, the agri minister, for instance, is looking at the 2.0 level for the planting for food and jobs, and these are all policies that the government is pushing or promoting to ensure that the young people, the young graduates out there, are able to have employment opportunities, are able to have an environment where they can also find jobs and flourish. So, Randy, we are not going to run away that at this particular time, this is a crucial challenge that the government has. But the good thing is that at least we know where we are. Randy, in the bigger scheme of things, our population is also growing at a rate of about 1.9%. Yesterday, I was reading something. When your population is growing at about 1.9%, and the economy itself is growing about 2.8% in this particular period, then it means that there is some problem, because the rate of population growth is too fast. And these are issues that, as a nation, it is not an MPP problem. It's not going to be an NDC problem. But we also have to look at issues like that to be able to solve our unemployment situation and other economic situations in the long term. We are in a country where these days probably about hundreds of thousands of people graduate every year from our tertiary institutions. Government is not there. Government alone cannot have the capacity to absorb all of these people. So the focus there should be creating the enabling environment. And this you can do by creating the macroeconomic environment in which businesses flourish. And that is what we are set out in doing. In coming down or landing on this issue, we are looking at policies. We are looking at 1D1F. We are looking at planting for food and jobs. These are all in line to create the opportunities that are needed for the young people of this country. So yes, Randy, it is true. There's a challenge, but the good thing is that we are working towards resolving that challenge. And historically, we have shown a record that we have created, prior to the pandemic, where we were, the track on which we are, 2.1 million jobs over 6 years. It's no mean an achievement that we are proud of, but we can do more. And given where we are today, we are still doing more to ensure that we create those opportunities for the young people of this country.
Yes, you see, Dr. Randy, the unemployment numbers, beyond it being a national security threat, reflects the current state of the economy. And that is why the state of the Nothing address read by President Akufo-Addo clearly was so silent on the critical issue of unemployment. But you see, on this platform, my friend makes the point that the MPP administration, and he just basically repeated what Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia said at the UPSA program, where he makes the point that the MPP administration has created 2.1 million jobs. Randy, I think it's important that this particular claim is further put to a certain level of straight proof. You see, if you check the record of this government, and here I come under the employment issue. Randy, I just want to read a few of the records. On February 2021, Employment Minister Ignatius Bafo-Ewua claimed that the MPP had created 3 million jobs. 3 million jobs. Now, on 16 September 2020, the same Employment Minister, Ignatius Bafo-Ewua, claimed that they have created 5.3 million jobs. In fact, it's on My Joy Online. Now, on 27th April 2023, Bawumia claimed that the MPP had created 2.2 million jobs. On the 7th of February 2021, he now claims that the MPP had created 2.1 million jobs. Now, the question is, which of these figures must we take? Is it the figures given by Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia? Is it the figures provided for by the employment minister that we should take? But like it's often said, the Ghana Statistical Service had just conducted its latest work on employable persons and the level of unemployment in the country. And I want to refer to that. Youth unemployment today stands as unprecedented level of 32.8%. 32.8%. That is the staggering, level of youth unemployment. Now, if you put general unemployment, we are...
Sorry, which report is it?
Which one? The Living Standards report, the latest one. Youth unemployment stands at 32.8.
Is that a 7?
Which one? Yes, the most recent. Youth unemployment stands at 32.8%. Now, general unemployment stands at 14.7%. Now, you see, Dr. Randy, it is not out of...
Sorry to break you.
Yes.
What year report is it?
The latest, the 7th. You see, Randy, what we should all recognize is that you cannot have declining, economy and at the same time have better employment numbers. The two run together. So when in doubt, always observe how the economy is or the state of the economy. Because the state of the economy directly translates into available jobs. The two go together, pari passu. And so if you have a situation where the current state of the economy is one that demonstrates a poor state, then you cannot have employment numbers showing better performance. It cannot be. Now, why do I say so? You have a situation where today your debt to GDP ratio is the biggest that we have seen since 1992. The biggest. Or let me even say the worst that we have seen since 1992. To the point that, Randy, as of 2016, a Ghanaian, if you had to rank our public debt, owe a little over 4,000 Ghana cedis. Today, every single Ghanaian owes not less than 20,000 Ghana cedis. That is the state of the economy. Today, as we speak, the exchange rate is doing 13.10, 13.21, depending on the place you get. And like Baumia said, when in doubt, observe the exchange rate. Now, you also note that if you have a situation where lending rate today is at 33.75%, what it means simply is this. The people who create jobs, the public sector, that we always recognize is the engine of growth. You
mean private sector?
Yeah, private sector. The private sector need to go out there to the banks, right? And borrow from the banks for the purposes of expanding their businesses, undertaking new projects. It is this new undertaking that will employ people. Now, if you need to go and borrow at 33.75% and almost 40% on average, then the risk is that your ability to employ more will be curtailed. Now, curiously, you have a situation where in the space of just 2 months, the Bank of Ghana is borrowing almost 8 billion from the treasury bill market. What effectively happens in this situation is that you are effectively crowding out liquid that ordinarily should be going to the private sector. Now, when you have a situation where government is competing with the private sector for available liquidity, you have the situation where we have. And unfortunately, what government is expending this liquidity mopped up from the system is on consumption and not to create jobs. So the current unemployment situation is a symptom of how this incompetent, clueless, wasteful administration has managed the affairs of this republic. And you see, Randy, and I've always maintained, when Honorable Fuseni was talking, and you raised the critical issue about the hospitality industry, cut across. If they have to struggle with 20 new taxes granted, we all know how these hospitality companies rely so much on public utilities, electricity, water, among other things. We have not looked at the fact that cumulatively, within the space of 2 years, utilities have increased in terms of tariffs about 72% cumulatively. Thankfully, government decided to withdraw or stop the implementation of the VAT on electricity. These hospitality companies are also burdened further by the critical issue of utility prices. Now, if they are going through all these things, it will affect the ability to employ more.
If you even take the issue of utility tariffs, which is true.
Yes.
If you take food inflation, especially in the last 3 years or so, you can tell the effect that this is having on the hospitality industry. You know, and here you're talking about hotels, restaurants, eateries, and all that. You can't be changing your prices every week or every day. So you realize that if you go and check the books of these players, you'd find out that the issue of food cost, food and beverage cost, is gone up the roof.
I mean, and in fact,
it's gone up the roof. And now,
But Randy,
yes,
no, I mean, you.
And now, when people, you know, sometimes people go to some of these places where they sell buffets, and they see the prices, and they are alarmed, and they think that there is something wrong going on. And when you explain to them, then they begin to, because if last year you had food inflation going up to, let's say, about 50-something%. I mean, you can imagine. How do you even plan? How does the executive chef even plan?
But that's exactly what I was explaining.
So
that
if
in this period where you have to deal with all those factors, ensure that inflation is.
So I'm saying that this even
having a hang on interest rates. It's a situation that we've been through. And as a result of what happened to this economy in 2022.
Randy, a friend recently makes this point. He said, look, now it is extremely difficult to invite 2 or more friends to eat out. Because by the time you're done, the costs and the tax build up. In fact, one of them actually went to a restaurant and posted the receipts on socials. And so I decided to follow the comments below it. There was overwhelming consensus that it is extremely difficult now to try eating out, simply because, again, food inflation, more importantly, the critical question of taxes. And these businesses are going through these challenges. If people will not go and, as it were, take advantage of the services offered by this company, what will be the net result? The net result is that they cannot employ more people. Look, as we speak, the minority issued a statement which remains unchallenged. The closing remarks of the Honorable Kesel Atoforsen. He makes the point that, look, these companies, Unilever, Randy, I just wanted to quote the portion. Unilever decided that they wanted to do, I think, their pay student or so, the manufacturing plant here. Because of the terrible cost of doing business in this country. You know the business had not come up. The pen, BIC, is relocating from Ghana. Once it is relocating, what it tells you simply is that there will be job losses. So the reason for the job or the unemployment numbers is not far-fetched. In fact, I referenced the earlier numbers that I gave.
Dr. Baumia himself had told us earlier that the taxes, as at 2016, the taxes were strangulating companies.
Yes.
The taxes were making companies unproductive.
And
he finds, I mean, if you listen to him, he finds it as a height of idiocy for any government to expect that with this level of taxes,
you
can have productivity.
And that is why the NPP...
He found it at the height of idiocy.
And Randy, that is why... Hold on, please. That is why the NPP coined this whole slogan that we shall move the economy from taxation to production. Yeah. Look, what is the scorecard of the NPP? Within the space of 7 years, under the watch, in the words of Akufo-Addo, the stellar leadership of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the record is that you have taken more tax revenue than all administration combined. Randy, do you know that...
In fact, I need producer, I need that video. The video about
the taxes
and productivity.
But Randy, curiously...
But those statements that he made at the time are correct.
No,
and
I
today,
want to situate.
correct.
I want to situate.
So
no, hold on. I want to situate.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the tax regime of 2016 and how we believe that tax regime.
So one of the first things when we came is to take off those.
If you allow me to finish, you would appreciate what I'm saying.
Sure.
If the tax regime of 2016 made nonsense of productivity and strangulated business, and there was no way you could have prosperous businesses and an economy, how would you describe the tax regime of today?
And you see,
Randy,
please, you
get. I thought you do question was.
Randy, the earlier reference was the Ghana 2023 Annual Household Income and Expenditure Survey, which puts the unemployment number at 14%. And the youth unemployment at a whooping 32% in proper perspective. But you see, Randy, the question that you've raised, in 2016, at the time Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia parroted these claims, right? The total envelope of resources available to the Mills Mahama administration was in the region of 248 billion Ghana cedis. Randy, today, this government has enjoyed a total resource envelope of 917 billion Ghana cedis, the dollar equivalent of $132 billion. That is how much resources have come into your hands. So the question has never been Russia-Ukraine. The question has been the unbridled corruption, the waste in the system, and in some instances, plain thievery. Look, if you pick the total envelope of taxes that this administration had gotten within the space of 7 years, we are talking about 417 billion Ghana cedis. Tax alone. Randy, if you have all these taxes and your scorecard...
I think in 2016, the total revenue for government was about 33 billion.
Yes.
2016.
Yes. No, in fact, it was actually 30 billion.
Okay.
2017 recorded 33 billion, a little over it.
Okay.
Now look at the situation where in the space of 7 years only, total revenue accruing to this administration is 400...
tax revenue.
Tax revenue. Over 400 billion Ghana cedis. If you put borrowed funds and grants, we are looking about 917 billion, $132 billion in 7 years to this administration. And Randy, all this money made available to this government, where are we? And if you come and you tell us that you have created 2.5 million, you say, Randy, there's a way to even always catch a liar. You know the budget has an appendix. The appendix provides the number of persons employed in the public sector. It's not even up to 1 million. Doc, it's not up to 1 million. Fire service, because you can't pay fire service personnel without finance ministry's approval. So at the beginning of the year, finance ministry posted that they are going to spend 33 billion Ghana cedis on paying almost 900,000 Ghanaians employed within the public sector. So this 2.1 or 2.2 or 5.3, we don't even know which number to use. Where is the NPP getting these numbers from? Obviously, out of the imagination of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. What's on this show? The Graduate Unemployed Nurses Association just brought to my attention the fact that they claim that they have been employing nurses is completely not true. And that there's a backlog of... Oh, please, hold on, please. There's a backlog of 7,500 nurses yet to be employed. That is your record. From the time you came in, from the time you came to power. But you see, Randy,
I just want streams of nurses not employed.
Randy, I want to refer you to something.
They had been sitting home to 3 years.
In my friend's submission, he says that, oh, inflation is under control. Randy, is that not interesting? If you claim inflation is under control, at the critical time when the IMF is telling you, the Bank of Ghana, to stop printing, you definitely have inflation in this nature. The reason is simple. When you print more money into the system, there will be more money chasing fewer goods. The end result will be the 54% inflation that we saw. Immediately you sign on to the IMF program. As part of the conditionalities, the IMF told the Bank of Ghana to stop printing money. And so this one is a very simple. I mean, in economics, they always tell you that the typical Ghanaian has a higher marginal propensity to consume than to save. So the money they get, if it's in the system, they will spend. And so, if you have a situation where inflation is coming, is under so-called control, it is not because this government has brought out any policy program or so to bring inflation. It's simply because the IMF had informed the Bank of Ghana, stop printing money. And as a result of the stoppage in printing more money into the system, you're having this kind of thing. But that notwithstanding, food inflation is still very high. That is the record. Randy, can you imagine a situation where today, at the time when government of Ghana is not servicing a critical component of its debt, which is the external component, we are still dealing with exchange rate in the region of 13 Ghana cedis for $1. Randy, is that not curious? That at the time when you are not servicing your debts, ordinarily you should be going to buy dollars in order to pay your external debt, creditors. In this situation, you are not doing that. But you still have exchange rate on the roof.
Somebody posed the question on Facebook. Maybe when it gets your turn, you might want to address it as well, and you too. It says that if $1 to 4 cedis equals weak fundamentals of the economy, what will 13 cedis to $1 mean?
No, but you know, Bamia has a word. It's a warped logic. You remember that warped logic?
It is true.
Video.
It is
the one that got Professor Jambavu
to
and Mr. Lanchomati to laugh.
It is warped logic.
No,
I agree with you.
So you see, Randy, you're a businessman. In 2016, if you needed to buy something worth $10,000, you needed 40,000 Ghana cedis to do that purchase. Now today, if you have to buy the same thing valued at $10,000, you need 130,000 Ghana cedis to buy the same purchase. And Baumia tells you that, no, if you say that the exchange rate has deteriorated, it's a warped logic. In fact, you should be saying that it has stabilized. I mean, between the two of us, who is engaged in warped logic? But you see, you have a situation where the people who have mismanaged the economy have decided to gaslight all of us into believing that we are rather the cause and not them. How can this be? On this show, the Honorable Fuseni Issa is telling us that, but for external factors, the economy was doing well. What they always tell us, or they refuse to tell us, is that you claim that COVID resulted in 13 billion Ghana cedi revenue loss. Agreed. Let's even say, for the sake of argument, that it is true. The same COVID in 1 year, 2020, gave you not less than 21 billion Ghana cedis. So even if you net it, it was a gain for you. The only problem is that You decided to use COVID funds for your electoral purposes. And the resultant effect is that for the first time since 1992, we had to do a budget deficit in excess of 15%. Reckless election expenditure. That is the record that we've been trying to fight since 2020. And so let nobody gaslight the ordinary Ghanaian into believing that the problem is them and not this incompetent administration that we have. What you do when you mismanage an economy of this nature is to demonstrate humility. Is to say, I am sorry. I do not deserve your mandate again. But the very people who have destroyed the economy are telling us that even though we have destroyed your economy, give us the opportunity to rule again. Randy, how are you going to do that? No. No. Send me mal. Not me mal. Not me take it with details. Look, you see, Randy, what we cannot take away is that when you have an economy that is bankrupt, you have higher unemployment numbers. When you have an economy that cannot service its debt, you definitely have higher unemployment numbers. When you have an economy that is debt-riddled, you definitely have higher unemployment numbers. So the record, you cannot overtax an economy and expect the economy to employ more people. Which kind of economics is that?
All right. Okay. See, we'll take a break. When we return, we'll wrap up on this one. We'll be back shortly.
All right.
Right, welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is Good Morning Ghana live on Metro TV. Still with me on the show, I have the Honorable Fuseni Issa and Godwin Eduji Tamaklo. But what does wealth mean to you? Do you want to live like a tycoon? Remember, as God and Mullah got the power. Ghana's newest lottery game draws live on Adum TV at 9 a.m., 12 noon, and 6 p.m. daily. Now pick up your phones, tablets, and computers and download the Game Park Games app on Play Store. You can also play on their website at www.gameparkgames.com or by dialing *946# on all networks. Just choose 4 numbers from 0 to 9. It's easy to play and easy to win. Shall I make we play this game and make some mullah? Nobody beats our odds in Ghana. Game Park Games, more mullah, more power. This game is regulated by a National Lottery Authority and it's not for persons under 18. Play responsibly. Ayesoku, that Kosovo dam be big, but Betway's cash out be bigger. Betway is giving you more control over every thrilling bet you place. Enjoy the biggest and most reliable cash out in Ghana on Betway without any hassle. Sign up today at betway.com.gh. Terms and conditions apply. Not for persons under 18. This is regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Betway, get way more. And Blue Jeans energy drink has been on the Ghanaian market for over 20 years. We already know what it does for the body. It contains vitamins and nutrients like vitamin B2, B3, B6, B12, as well as taurine and guarana, which are known to boost your strength and energy, as well as promote high performance and endurance. Blue Jeans energy drink has been tested and tried. It is indeed the best. Blue Jeans energy drink is for bold and active men and women. So go on, grab a cold can and power your day. It's in shops nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact Budget Cash and Carry Limited on 0208 128190 055 001 0000. And if you have been wondering the kind of leadership that this country requires, whether it is in business, it's in the arena of politics, and what have you, well, the NIBS Future Ready Leadership Summit is coming up tomorrow, 8 a.m. at Mevinpick. It's tomorrow, the Future Ready Leadership Summit. Now, the statement is that the future is here, but the big question is, where is the leadership? Now, the maiden edition of the Future Ready Leadership Summit, dubbed Reimagining Leadership in a World of Unrelenting Change, with very inspiring speakers such as Sir Sam Jonah, Dr. George Ajekum Donko and Professor Kweku Etuahini Jima, who you watched on this show on Friday. And many distinguished speakers will come off tomorrow, the 13th of March 2024, at the Mervyn Peak Ambassador Hotel, and it starts at 8 a.m. And so if you want tickets to this event, which is free, kindly contact 0267 349 147 or 0244 202 949. 0244 202 949. So once again, the statement is that the future is here. That's the reality. The future is here. But the big question is, where is the leadership? Where is the leadership? And we'll find those answers tomorrow at the Future Ready Leadership Summit, where the issue of reimagining leadership in a world of unrelenting change would be explored. And so it's from 8 a.m. tomorrow at the Mervyn Peak Ambassador Hotel. And so you should be there. I'll be there myself. And so make a date and let's meet there. Listen to all these inspiring speakers and, of course, the discussions about all these issues and all that. All right. Okay. So, yeah, Fuzeni.
Andy, lately, when it comes to analyzing the economy, the NDC has developed a penchant of accumulating the revenues that has accrued to government over a number of years and making that comparison. I think that logic has to be debated, because it is not for nothing that we have fiscal policies that span 12 months. And within that 12 months, what you do is that you match your revenues with your expenditure. And that is how our planning is being. Of course, you can plan in the medium term, 3 to 5 years, and beyond 5 years in the long term. But how they have arrived at putting revenues together over years and questioning. It happened yesterday in Parliament as well. My very good friend, the minority leader, I don't know where he's getting that logic from. And for a period that he himself, the minority leader, was either the ranking member of the finance committee, and that's a very senior person within the finance committee and within Parliament. That actually takes part in all the analysis for the budget. I don't know where that thinking is from, and I think that they should. I mean, give us a break.
What's your problem with that?
My problem is them lumping up and saying that within time that you have been in government, this is how much has accrued to you. But they don't go further to tell us how much and the expenses that we have incurred, because every year government has accounted for what came into the kitty and what that revenue was used for on yearly rolling system. So where is this penchant from of accumulating a number of years and making political out of it? I don't think it's something that... Look, I was explaining why the unemployment situation is like in Ghana at this time. We have had to create that enabling environment that will enable the private sector to thrive. And it's when the private sector is thriving that the economy grows. And when the economy grows, people are employed. Look, as a nation,
you know,
and as
I'm
a
sure you
global
know
economy,
him, the Honorable Ostingame.
Yeah.
Okay, he's one of the country's foremost
Certain.
labor
Certain.
experts. He says good paying jobs and a thriving informal sector are the results of a functioning economy.
Good paying jobs.
He says good paying jobs and a thriving informal sector are the results of a functioning economy. The overbloated public and security sectors should be of great concern to all of us. Even now, we are only replacing in critical sectors like health and teaching. It says that it's even reflected in the energy sector. The next 3 months will be interesting.
I'm struggling when he says we are replacing in the health and teaching sectors, when
I'm sure it's referring to net employment.
Well, net employment,
yes.
I mean,
net employment in those sectors. That it is,
when you
if
say
10
net,
out,
net
then
means
10
10 in, 10 out,
yes.
10 out, 10 in.
Yes.
But annually, we are employing people who complete their nursing schools and
since when?
And training schools.
Since when?
I'm not too, but that's been what. And you see,
no, there's been a backlog for some years. They're always in the papers asking to be employed. But
when we came to government, there were about 3 outstanding streams.
Yeah, that's why I asked you from which year, because at least I know that in the last 3 years or so, there's always that complaint that there's been a backlog, all manner of health sector.
Interestingly, about last week I heard about some group of nurses who are claiming that if the clearance is not given for them to be employed, they are going to embark on some action. Okay. And I was wondering, I was trying to reconcile how this, but anyway, I'll just have to look at that. You see, the quote Mr. Game gave, a thriving economy, well-paid jobs. It is not different from what I'm trying to say, that at this material moment, we need to create the environment. Private sector thrives, the economy grows.
We have a dysfunctional economy.
I see that our economy is still being formalized. We are not formal.
It's dysfunctional.
Look, in other economies, and you are aware, unemployment figures are one of the, and they are readily available.
In 2019,
by the month,
in 2019 right? Or 20, I think 2019, the vice president, I'll look for that video. He said that you have fixed the fundamentals of the economy. He said that. Prior to
COVID hitting. When COVID hit.
So COVID messed up the fundamentals.
Of course, look, fundamentally, this economy, I wouldn't even say fundamental, but the structure of the economy that we run needs to change significantly, and that is what we set out to do.
So as at 2020, we had not done that.
Of course, the structure is not changed like we ought to, or how we envisage to change it.
What did you change?
Why? Because, what did we change?
Yeah, what did you change? As at 2020, what had you changed?
To be able to change that structure, right? We run an import-dependent economy. Where most of the things that we consume are imported. It puts stress on our forex.
So what did you change? How did you change that?
To be able to change that,
yes,
you need to curtail or manage the level of your imports. How do you do that? By encouraging local production of some of the things that you consume.
Have you done that?
That is what we set out to do that is what we set out to do.
So what did you do? That's what I want to know.
So that's how come we brought in policies like planting for food and jobs, so that we are self-sufficient when it came to food production. That is why we started 1DF.
So how did COVID affect planting for food and jobs?
Oh, of course, Randy.
Yes.
How did COVID
affect planting for food and jobs?
Of course, at the time when COVID hit, our emphasis was to save lives. All government investments had to get into points like ensuring that what we needed to save lives were there, were available.
COVID paid for itself, and it gave us extra money.
Paid for itself.
It did. COVID paid for itself and gave us extra money.
$200 from the stabilization.
At the point. Look. When COVID started in 2020, you will recollect that we had already a fiscal policy in place for 2020. Right? When it started, by February, March, some of the projections we're having from global institutions were that by July or June, people were going to be dying on our streets. We had to do everything possible, including people staying at home and being fed.
We never projected that we will get 30 billion cedis from
At
COVID.
the time. Like I'm saying, the economy was near shutdown. Public sector was almost closed for a whole year. And these were things that were, but people that were on government payroll, although were not being productive, were paid throughout the time.
Yeah, but
incentives that was given to the health
people.
Saying,
what I'm also telling you is that there's 30 billion inflows that we never projected.
But of
We
the
never
30
budgeted.
billion, of the 30 billion,
Yes.
we have accounted for it. The auditor
Yeah,
has gone
the
through
finance
all
minister
of
has
that.
told us that
Yes.
he spent 12 point something billion on COVID-related expenditure. The rest was for budgetary support. So that's
Yes.
the COVID story.
That's
Yes. So,
but
so,
the account is there for all of us too.
Yeah. So
to
what is the
verify.
point? How did COVID affect?
It
planting
slowed
for food and
down
jobs?
even supply chain, effect cost, and then when Russia, Ukraine.
No, those things are not in doubt. But it is
So
that's an.
when
I'm
you,
just saying that's an
they are
epidemic.
not in doubt.
That's
but-
an epidemic
Yeah.
that gave you an epidemic that first of all paid for its expenditure. And
You
gave
see, that
you
is- that
an
is where
additional.
the-
I'm
why-
just referring to
why,
the.
when you
I'm
say
just referring
that
to the finance
the
minister.
epidemic
Just,
paid
Chief,
for
just
its-
hold on a minute. I'm just saying that the finance minister has told us, the former finance minister has told us that COVID, the inflows from as a result of COVID, paid the COVID expenditure close to 13 billion. It paid for it, and that there was a surplus of about 18 billion, and that went into budgetary support.
You see, the COVID paying for itself, it's one leg. The other leg is that as a result of the pandemic, the economy was not growing because economic activity had been curtailed. That's the impact of the pandemic on the economy. The
Yes.
monies can come and go, right?
Yes.
The monies that came in could take care of the expenses. But when the economy is not growing, then it's a whole effect. It's also
No, I'm saying that
so we have to deal
beyond
with
that,
resuscitating that economy.
I don't have a problem. I'm just
That's
saying
the
that
impact of COVID
beyond,
on the system.
beyond this is a pandemic.
Beyond the income and expenditure of COVID,
Yes.
this economy
Yes.
was not growing in the economic year,
Yes.
in the COVID year.
Yes.
And it's not just this economy, globally.
Yes.
As we speak today, Randy, we are talking unemployment figures. 14% in Ghana, and youth unemployment. Do you know the unemployment figures in South Africa?
Do I what?
In South Africa,
Yes.
total unemployment is 38%.
Why?
Youth unemployment is 51%.
Why must that concern?
Because
the
we
Ghanaian?
live in a global system where Ghana is plugged into
So
that
why are you
system.
not
So
using?
those
Why are you not
externalities-
using Cote d'Ivoire and Togo and Benin?
I am speaking to the data
Similarly
that is available
placed.
to me today. That's the data that's available to me.
Okay.
And I'm sure that NUG or anybody else can also check on the situation in Cote d'Ivoire. You see, but those are the realities globally. I mean, we are plugged into a system. What happens in those systems will affect us. And that is what we have had to contend with in 2020 and 2022.
So how is it that
People still
how is it
keep
that
claiming
countries like Benin and Cote d'Ivoire?
we keep saying
No, just hold on. How come countries like Benin and Cote d'Ivoire have returned to the capital market?
oh, they have returned to the capital market. That's fine. But you see,
I say, how come?
You see, I am talking about macroeconomic indicators. We as a country, we manage our economy. It's in our own hands. The level of control that France has over these economies is very tight. Their reserves are managed from France. Their currency, we have a floating exchange rate where you can walk into any forex bureau or any financial institution,
So is
depending on demand and supply.
So is the reason why
demand
Benin and Cote
supply
d'Ivoire
determines.
is it?
They are exchange the rate, the CFA is tied to the euro.
So how come Burkina Faso is not back there?
Same.
No.
Burkina Faso also
How
uses
come
the same
Burkina
currency.
Faso's economy is not the same as the Beninois economy? How come
But we know what
the
is happening
Niger
in-
economy?
We
is
know what
not-
is happening in those countries.
What is happening?
That there are recent movement away from ECOWAS and all of that. It's a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. See what is happening in Nigeria. Now, you have to, when we speak about some of these things, why can't the Nigerian? See what is happening to the Naira. You see what is happening to the Naira. And some of us believe that the current movement within our currency is a direct result of what is happening in Nigeria. Because of the relative closeness of the people of the two countries. Nigerians can walk in here and do whatever transactions they want. So it is just direct. People, Duji was making allusions to the fact that Bank of Ghana was printing money. It was only within this 8 years that we have been in power, it was only on 2 occasions. In 2020, as a result of the COVID, where in one of the initial places we got money was 10 billion from the central bank. And then in 2022, as a result of the instability that we're going through in 2020, beside that, the central bank has not financed the budget of the new patriotic party in any other year. See, they keep talking about relative, and you ask the question about the exchange rates, $1 to 4 cedis and $1 to 13 cedis. See, within 2013 and 20, even before then, let me make a point. In making financial and economic analysis, even in business analysis, you do not look at the absolute rates. Nobody does that. You look at the rates of depreciation or appreciation of the currency, and that has been what is done everywhere. Today, we are finding it convenient to be looking at absolute. It doesn't really make sense. If you look at the rates of depreciation between 2013 and 2016, this currency was depreciating averagely annually by almost 18%. Almost 18%. And we have been able to manage the currency to the extent that even if you add the turbulence that we had in 2022, we're doing like 10.75% averagely annually under the new patriotic party. And there's empirical evidence to show that we have managed the currency every time better than the NDC, including what we went through in 2022. The currency is depreciated averagely by 10.75%.
So you're saying
nobody
that
looks at that
so
absolute
you're
figure
saying
of
that
1 to 4 or 1 to 13 to.
So how you describe?
Hold on.
How will you describe anybody who looks at the currency from the nominal or absolute? How will you describe that person?
I am telling the person that in managing an economy, doing financial economic analysis, nobody looks at the nominal.
So how will you describe anybody who uses the nominal figure?
Why should I have a description for the person, Randy?
You shouldn't.
Why should I have a description? I am telling the person, and I expect everybody what they saw to know.
Okay, I like that expression.
To know, okay. Nobody does this analysis.
So anybody who does that,
nominal figures.
So anybody who does that,
you can do that for political expedience, like my friend here will try to do this morning, or has tried to do. Okay. But it is not what if you look at the rates and the value, the parity of this currency, we have managed it better.
But
given the challenges that
are you aware? Are you aware that 1 cedi to 2 cedis?
You're going back to
1 cedi to 2 cedis is 100%.
Yeah.
2 cedis to 3 cedis is
50%.
50%.
Yeah.
Not so.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that 2 cedis to 3 cedis is better than 1 cedi to 2 cedis because 1 cedi to 2 cedis is 100% and 2 cedis to 3 cedis is 50%.
That's my.
So
that's
you're
my
saying
reasoning.
that 2 cedis to 3 cedis is better than 1 cedi to 2 cedis because in percentage terms, one is 50%, one is 100%.
Exactly my point. You have broken it down to exactly my point.
Randy,
exactly my point.
Randy.
And that makes sense to you.
Of course it does.
Okay, all right.
Of course it does.
That's fine.
Because I want to look at it.
No, that's fine.
As in financial terms, in economic terms, and that's how it stands.
That's fine.
Every currency in this world. That is
so once again.
Yeah.
So 1 cedi to 2 cedis is 100%.
100% depreciation.
Randy,
a man who believes that review means cancel.
Yes, Randy, that is what happened in analyzing any currency in the world. Nobody looks at nominal.
So the person who took the cedi from 2 cedis to 3 cedis has done a better job than the one who took it from 1 cedi to 2 cedis.
Yes. That's what I'm.
Because one represents 100%, one represents 50%.
Exactly.
Okay, all right.
Exactly.
I guess you made
and that I
you
believe
made a point.
in
Thank
absolute.
You. Okay.
Those are the absolute.
Thank you very
much.
much.
So it is not a case of yes.
Randy,
we know
my
unemployment situation.
Okay.
It is real.
You see,
and if we had folded our arms,
please let him.
If we had folded our arms and watching the situation deteriorate, then that's a problem.
All right.
But fortunately, we have our fingers on the tap.
Okay.
Indices are beginning. The economy is even growing much faster than was anticipated. inflation, yes, we've seen some very marginal increases in the last month or so, but food production with the season coming around, the rains coming and all of that, seems to look like the seasonality of inflation. It won't be too we'll have that stable economy that we want, and then jobs will be created for the teeming unemployed.
Okay.
I mean,
yes,
you see, Randy, the woman at Okanshi or Kantabanto that buys Obroniwa to sell in this country. When she was doing that in 2016, and it's worth $10,000, she needed 38,000 Ghana cedis to purchase it. Today, that same person needs 131,000 Ghana cedis to purchase the same value. Nobody goes to the exchange markets in percentages. People are looking at the value.
But are you not oversimplifying?
No, I'm not.
Issue? Yes.
No, Randy, I am not. Because you see, like in your own mathematics, even assuming for the sake of argument that you are even moving from 4.
You can consider me a financially illiterate person.
Exactly, but I'm even saying that.
So don't use me.
No. You are not an illiterate. If you are using four CDs, and now I'm doing 13 CDs, at the point you even went to 15 CDs, you are telling me you are a better performer.
Because the percentage suggests so.
No, you see, that is why I'm saying that communicating for MPP now looks like rocket science. You need to make it look so complex. Very simple analysis. You have not been able to put your hands on the exchange rate. Simple. Can you imagine, Randy, even for the sake of argument, that this government, as we speak, is servicing the external component of its debt, where the CD will be today. And the painful part is that there is no syndicated loan except by September. So there is no serious...
Which one? Which syndicated
No, but usually is the cocoa syndicated.
But how much are you going to be able to syndicate when the forecast is that you're going to be doing less than 500,000?
Exactly. Yeah. So the last time, even when they tried to do the syndicated at 1.2 billion, they could only manage $800 million dollars. That already gives you the precarious state of the city. And that is why we have always maintained that from 2017 to date...
This dollar performance, apart from the fact that we are not paying our debts, it is just about 6 weeks or so ago when those inflows from the IMF 600 million, the 600 million came in, yes. So and provided the seeming, and immediately that was drawn down, it's gone. But you see,
what is happening in Nigeria is affecting us.
It's affecting us.
Yeah, because of the size.
So now Russia, Ukraine, and Nigerian crisis.
Oh, I said I personally.
No. I mean, we have added the Nigerian crisis to the problems affecting Ghana. But you see, Randy, when the point was made about total revenue that we've accrued, he says, the Honorable Ato Fortune and Co. are oversimplifying the issue. But the record will show that in 2017, you got 39 billion Ghana cedis.
And what was the expense for that?
It doesn't matter. Hold on.
You can't say it
hold on. It doesn't matter. Because the reason why it doesn't matter is that
we plan for a period.
Please.
That's how much.
So I want to ask you a question. So you know me on issues of finance, I'll defer to you, Isa. So a person who speaks only about the envelope of resources without speaking about expenditure, how would you describe that person? No, you've taken exception to that line.
You are talking about that envelope of resources, that influence. Within the
you say it should not be done.
Within the physical policy.
Yes.
Within the physical policy. There are 2 or even 3.
Yes.
That's how much is coming into the kitty.
Yes.
That's how much we are spending, and any difference in how it's going to be taken care of.
Yes.
That's a basic thing. of our annual physical.
So you have a problem.
So when you're
with
talking
those who
about
speak
physical planning, I
Yes.
expect, and then it is not for nothing that it is time bound. I don't know that, right? So when you're talking about this envelope of resources outside of any time or any expenses linked to it, it's a very incomplete analysis. That's
So how will
my
you
point.
describe anybody who makes that kind of analysis?
That's your movement of would you describe people who are making those analyses? I still don't get it. But
I
I've
think
made
you
my
need
point.
a
Would that be-
I've made my
you need
point
a
that
legal
it is
advice.
not-
Would that be?
it
Would
is-
that
it is
be?
incomplete.
Would that amount to?
We can mention.
Would that
things
amount
like,
to?
we can mention this.
Would that amount to dysfunctional financial literacy?
Those are your words. Those are your words.
So I'm asking a question.
I am saying that analysis like that are incomplete.
Okay.
Incomplete because, look, sometimes you even look at your expenses, and based on your expenses, you have to introduce policies
Okay.
that will affect
All
the
right.
envelope of resources as you want to
All
describe
right.
it.
Okay.
So when you look at just one aspect, it is
okay.
incomplete
Edu,
analysis. And
finish
it is
up
not
first.
what
You see, so-
beside the NDC, I don't think anybody will do that analysis.
So anybody who does that kind of analysis is
see,
what?
It's
see,
incomplete analysis.
Hold on. You see, the reason
And you
why,
see, people like-
you are speaking directly to Dr. Baumia.
Oh, why?
Masaja.
Because in 2016, if you recall,
See, it
oh,
is different
please,
from
please,
me
you have
saying that,
decided
saying
to
that
be disruptive.
new revenue handles, maybe new oil fields
See,
or something. That's
Randy,
Okay,
in,
so
But
let-
when
let-
I decide to do those, it is very incomplete.
Okay.
It's
Randy,
not
in
something
2016,
that's-
if you recall, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, in one of the lectures, made the point that the NDC administration had gotten a total resource envelope of 248
He was
billion.
speaking in reference
And-
to
and-
us
and-
starting
and
an
that-
oil economy,
and
which
that-
hitherto was not there.
And that any government with that kind of resources should be able to do A, B, C, D at the time. Unless, of course, he demonstrated financial illiteracy there, then your position will be holding today. Because you cannot run away from the fact that you've gotten a total resource envelope of 925 billion Ghana cedis, the dollar equivalent of $134 billion. Out of this, you have destroyed the economy. You have destroyed the cocoa sector. We are dealing with a high, interest rate. As we speak, Reuters
Check what is happening in Cote d'Ivoire.
and Bloomberg have put out there that this year we may not even do
It's a global
500,000
situation.
metric tons
It's a
of
global
cocoa.
situation.
You cannot globalize your incompetence.
It is a global
You,
situation. Check what is
you
happening
are
in
not
the Middle East.
permitted to globalize your incompetence because you have every
why?
opportunity to do well. You had enough resources than every administration. Look, my attention has just been drawn to the fact that the backlog of nurses alone is 75,000. They just sent me the
For how many
message
years?
from
And
2017.
for you.
No,
When they came into
75,000
government.
nurses are yet to be employed. That is a national security threat.
Oh, please, come on.
I have heard the report. The number of trained nurses who are running out of this country to look for greener pastures out. What is government response? Digitalization? No, it cannot be. People are looking for ways to get these numbers employed. That is their greatest concern at this point. And you see, Randy, what we cannot run away, and there appears to be a certain consensus on this table, that our, what we call it, employment numbers are simply bad. And it portends a national security threat to this country. What young people...
South Africa, I'm not commenting on that.
Why? We are talking about Ghana. I recall, hold on, I recall Dr. Baumia asking, did the global or external shocks escape Cote d'Ivoire to come to Ghana? That's my response to you today. He, as the chair of the economic management team, had a responsibility. That responsibility he had failed. And you cannot, this morning, seek to globalize that irresponsibility on his part. And look, the young people out there are looking for a message of hope. What they know is that there is increased despondency today with increased envelope of resources to your administration. What have you used the money for? Nana Dodonko Akufo-Addo used to say in opposition, Ghana yaye mobo dodo. Yaye mobo kura dodo. Ni etisika so ni ebre. Na Ghana yo yamai. Na amamuo born inti.
That's true.
Amamuo born inti.
Very true.
Today, we have seen beyond amamuo born. You've gotten all this money. So where is the money? Sikano wai. 917 billion Ghana. Sikano wai. And you see, Randy, if you look at the budget statement, it puts how much government of Ghana has really spent on free SHS. The envelope of resources into free SHS is not up to 20 billion Ghana cedis. And so even assuming that this flagship program is what has taken the money, it's not even up to 20 billion.
Let me tell you where the money is going.
Out of 900 and something billion.
We had to spend over 20 million because you watched our financial sector.
Because you see, even, okay, you see, Randy, even let's take the 25 billion for the financial sector cleanup out of 900 and something billion. You cannot account for the money.
Excess energy.
Look,
excess energy.
Bamia said, no, hold on. Bamia said they spent 17 billion on excess capacity charges at Church of Pentecost. Correct. When we decided to interrogate the number, we found out that, for instance, 600 million was paid to a company called Stratcom for fuel supply. Now, how can you supply fuel to a power plant and turn around and say excess capacity charge?
Excess capacity.
You don't even know what you are talking about. When
Suhini,
hold on, when Suhini asked the question from the finance minister, how much had been spent on excess capacity charge from 2017 to 2021? What was the minister's rate? Less than $1 billion. Less than $1 billion. So even if you put all these expenditures together,
was in the house then.
Yes, in fact, you was then a member of the finance committee. If you put all those resources together, it's not even up to 100 billion Ghana cedis.
Oh, that's it.
Exactly. These were the questions Suhini asked. And look at
that's the question. What was the response?
No, the response.
There's a question.
They'll show you the response.
A breakdown. And if you look at the breakdown, these are power plants that are functional. These are power plants that are producing power for you. Today, look at how you have destroyed the energy sector. Randy, do you know that the ENI guarantee, right? The guarantee, the ENI guarantee, you know this government has drawn down on the money?
Your lights are on.
Hold on, we have exhausted.
Your lights are on.
Please, you don't even know what you are talking. People are angry out there. See the disaster where Ghana is playing Ethiopia. And then you see the lights off. And now people are using their torchlights to assist players. No, I'm willing to go into that debate with you. In the space of, Randy, in the space of 7 years, what at all can this government point out and say? In the energy sector, this is our achievement.
All right. Okay.
Nothing.
We need to go, but I need to do this. I need to do this before we go. Today is the birthday, 73rd birthday of the First Lady.
My beautiful Rebecca.
Yes, Mrs. Rebecca.
I thought I'm this plagiarizing.
Today is the 73rd birthday of Mrs. Rebecca Akufo-Addo, the First Lady of the Republic of Ghana, who's fondly referred to as my beautiful Rebecca by His Excellency the President. I'm sure that I've said the right thing.
Because you
who's fondly referred to as my beautiful Rebecca by His Excellency the President. Yes. So happy 73rd birthday to you, Auntie Becky, our First Lady. Happy 73rd birthday to you. And over the weekend, the APC held its Congress. And the Honorable Hassan Yariga has been elected as a flag bearer of the party. So congratulations to you.
See my Ayarikov, the man who used to cough.
Ayarikov. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So he should come. And
he has some antique cars.
He should come and
he used one.
Oh my word!
He should come and join the NDC to defeat these axes of
a happy birthday to the Interior Minister designate. The Honorable
he's not. He's already in office.
Oh yeah,
Also
sorry.
as a minister,
Sorry.
it's already enough.
So there's a substantive minister for the interior, the Honorable Henry Quartey. Happy
You know,
birthday,
Randy, this conversation
as well.
has always come up on this issue of parliamentary approval. When you said it's not a set, that if Parliament, for instance, considers you in your approval process that you are suitable to be a Minister of Health with the skill set you have, and therefore approve that. If you become an Interior Minister, should that approval continue with having
I have been one of the finance ministers we had under Rolex.
Yeah, Richard Kwame
changed from the around 1996.
No, Richard
had gone to
Kwame.
Parliament
So when
without
he
being vetted.
continued,
Right, and he wanted to continue.
then GH
And
Mensah
he
went to
became
the
a
Supreme
matter. I
Court.
recollect.
No, GH
that
Mensah
about-
went
yes.
to the Supreme Court, which
So
now
it's
became
a-
the Supreme Court decision in GH Mensah versus Attorney General. But the point had been raised that if your vetting and approval is that you are suitable for a finance minister, would you?
That would be quite disruptive. It means that anytime there's a reshuffle, because you see, I think that the convention of once you are vetted as a minister, although
No, you see, you are not vetted as a quote unquote
Ejuji, it is not
minister.
for nothing.
Hold on.
No, it's not for
as a
nothing.
minister at large.
First of all, you must meet the criteria for a minister,
To be vetted.
and then you can have sector-specific questions. You understand what I'm saying?
Randy, how come that when a deputy minister is becoming, I'm just saying, the substantive, it requires a different layer of approval?
Because a deputy minister is not a minister.
No,
It's
but
not
you
a
see,
minister.
but the understanding
That's been
is
determined by
that,
the
no,
courts.
no, I'm not
So
even having...
Eduji, just to expand it, you realize that there are also ministers of state. Let's say at the presidency, there are many people who are made minister, and it's at the presidency.
Yeah.
So in those cases, you don't have specific. I think that it was just over the last 8 years or so, that I think Parliament has decided that even if the person is a minister of state, you must have
Some
a
designation
certain.
at the presidency.
So I think that the convention of ministers moving
In
around,
any case, they are
I think it's
appointees
okay.
to assist the president.
Possibly.
All ministers are appointees
it's-
to assist
for me,
the
I
president.
buy into
So
the
whether
argument.
they are in
Do you
one
know
sector or
that?
the other.
Do you know that that point Eduji made is reinforced
I think so.
further by the new standing orders, where now, when a minister is being vetted, you have the committee in Parliament.
Committee leadership.
Yes, in Parliament, being part
Yes,
of the panel.
because of
Yeah.
the skill
That
set.
that reinforces the point he's making.
Appointments committee like we used to have.
No, there is.
Where the
there is
same-
the leadership.
No, but
Okay,
you
there
see,
is,
so
but
if you
then
are
you
being
have-
if you are being
hitherto,
vetted now,
formally, the membership was defined.
No, but they are
irrespective
not.
of
No.
the sector, the same sector.
But
they are not.
it's still defined, but it's just the leadership.
yeah.
I think
Leadership
about
of Parliament.
9
But
of
there
them.
are there are other
About
members.
9 of them.
but you
There are other
see, but
members
you
of
see,
Parliament
you
who
see,
are not
you
leaders,
see,
but
you
are
see,
part-
you see,
part of the
Randy. The point I am
responsibility.
making is that you see, if you are a finance minister, members of the finance committee, by this standing order,
Yes.
are permitted to be there
Yes.
to evaluate the skill set
Yes.
you have
Yes.
for that ministry.
Yes.
So
That
I'm
makes
saying
sense.
that if somebody now goes into interior, members of the interior committee will now be coming there. With the current dispensation, would they have the benefit of even testing how accurate you are for? It is not a position I support though, because it has the unintended consequence of undermining the smooth running of government. But that's the more reason why here, a substantive minister can hold the position of a minister pending this constitutional
So
process.
maybe the tilt, if for example, in vetting a minister, the tilt is 70% about general suitability for the position of a minister.
Fantastic.
And then maybe the sector is
So
about
it's a
30%.
minister at large.
Yes, the sector is about 30%. That explains it. Because it will be very disruptive. And I mean, the only time it won't be disruptive is if Mr. Akufo-Addo is the president, and you won't have reshuffles. And therefore, I mean, really.
Yeah, in terms of
once you-
consistency.
Yes.
I'm losing.
No, in terms of consistency.
I'm losing track of your points.
Oh no! If you're having a situation
let's
where a
not-
person will be minister for 8 years in the same position, then really Eduji's fears,
you cannot foresee
Eduji's
what's
fears
gonna
will
happen.
not.
No, but you see the
No, that's
point
why I
is
You
that
qualified
appoint
it.
somebody to the ministerial position.
if you
are not-
have a
you're not
situation
privy to
where,
what's gonna happen
for
tomorrow.
instance, the finance minister is reshuffle.
Maybe it's a reason why the president didn't do a lot of reshuffle.
To avoid disrupting his government.
Article 50. Is it 56 or 58?
Let's go.
I mean, he is
you are short of articles
now.
now.
Let's go.
You are short of articles. But Randy, have you noticed that the Bank of Ghana just posted that they've written off a certain amount of
they just
debt?
posted what?
I hear the minorities raised the issue.
They just
about the BOG are just giving an indication that they've written off 4 point something billion.
40 something or 4 point something.
No, I'm looking at no, it's 4.33 billion as
CDs.
bad debt. Yes, as bad debt in 2023.
The central bank itself.
No, banks.
Yeah, that's banks.
Banks wrote off. As
But
for BOG,
but it's an
As
improvement over
MPL. Oh, what?
yes.
It's an improvement over last year. Last year was worse.
And I'm saying that if you look at the numbers as at 2016, before the banking,
very good.
If you look at the numbers before the banking sector cleanup, the banks were writing off less. At the time we claim the banks
I'm sure you are looking at nominal figures without looking at.
But please, don't be running this nominal and this. Like for like.
Look at it,
like for like.
Figures.
You cannot now be using
real
real numbers.
When Dr. Baumia
was using nominal.
when Dr. Baumia was comparing, Chief, when Dr. Baumia was comparing the revenue that accrued to President Kufuor's government and that of the NDC over 8 years.
I am yet to see an example where you just quote nominal like that.
No, but that's what he was doing. Nominal.
Okay, so let me give you a small homework. Imani issued a statement disagreeing with him. Just go and Google it.
I'll check
just
it.
Google it and
I'll
read
check
it. Yes.
I'll check it.
It's
That
available.
assignment,
It's
I'll check
available,
it.
just like restoring the value of the city. It's available on the internet.
I mean, that statement were right then.
Provided
they're right today.
Provided
But
it's
given
not
what we have
logic.
had to contend with, and the situation we find ourselves in today, given the global
But you
outlook
see,
and all that.
but you see, Randy, the point I was
That's
making
creditable.
that he cast me was the fact that if you look at how much the banks were writing off as at 2016, when there was a claim that the banks were not in good health, compared to how much they are writing off now, we are doing more now. And that speaks directly to the health of the banks today, that they are not in good shape.
All right, okay.
Not necessarily.
So that's
not
it.
necessarily a Judy.
Up
That's why
next,
I keep saying that. Let's look at it
up next
in
is
terms of
Metro Sports.
the economy and the level of transactions.
The final, based on your answers, Honorable Minister, which one is the true man?
Is asking his last question.
Which one is true, Leader? Based on your answers provided, Mr. Speaker, and the answers that were provided by the Finance Minister related to this same question on Thursday, 17th June 2021, which remains a record of this House. Is it true or false that Ghana pays $1 billion annually as excess capacity charges?
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. That is false. The figure he just quoted, 1 billion, is false. Thank you.
He says 1 billion is false. I've repeated his response. He says it's false. Yes, Leader. Member for Tamale North, Honorable Suhini Alasa Saibu.
$5 million. The breakdown is as follows. AXA, $347.2 million. Car Power, $359.00 million. And Cent Power, $231.3 million. Thank you, sir. Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Honorable supplementary question.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister's answer is in the form of a range, a period between or period under review 2017 to 2020. Will the Minister be kind enough to break it down to how much was paid for each year? How much was paid for each year? Thank you.
Honorable members, when I say if the minister is minded, then I'm looking at it that probably the question is being shifted. So if the minister is minded, he can answer the question. Other than that, so minister, if you think you can.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Member, thank you very much for the supplementary question. The amount, as I stated, from 2017 to 2020 totals $937.5 million US. Breakdown is as follows. AXA 2017, 35.7 million. 2018, 59.4 million. 2019, 136.8 million. 2020, 115.3 million. Totaling 347.2. Car power 65.3 million 2017, 108.9 million. I beg your pardon?
Honorable Minister, may you please speak up a bit? Please, let's have order here so that we can hear it well.
9 million, 2019, 138 million, 2020, 46.8 million, coming to 359 million for the period. Send power, 0 for 2017, 0 for 2018, 86.5 million, 2019, 144.8 million, 2020, 230.